Melissa's here. Well,
Okay. Hey, everybody. So, my name is Robin, nutritionist. And so, today we're going to talk about produce, specifically fall, winter, how we can grow and what we can do to have produce on our with our own hands in an easy way. So, the truth is, the produce that is available to us in stores is not not how we would want it to be. Even if it's organic, I just learned this weekend that even though it's organic, it doesn't mean that it's without pesticides. It doesn't mean that. There's a certain amount that can still be used. And so it's not what we necessarily think it to be. But when you grow your own, you know what you've grown and what you've put on there. But let me say this about the food in the store. So think about this. It's picked prior to it's not ripened when it's not fully ripe. It's picked beforehand so that it can sit in the store long enough for you to, as a consumer, for us to buy it. So if they picked it ripe, then it wouldn't last as long. And our produce is traveling across countries and all of those things. And in order to preserve the money to get the most out of the produce, they have to preserve it. They have to pick it before it's ripened and spray it and all those things, which means that our produce doesn't have the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that we need it to have in order to fuel our bodies. And growing your own is a way to do it. But for the fact that it could seem daunting to go out into a garden and till and do all the things that that entails. And then it's cold in some places. In some places, it's cold depending on where you are. And in the fall and the winter, maybe you don't want to even be outside. So we're going to talk about actually growing inside, how you can do that. And Sherry and Lisa are we're just going to have a conversation. And then those that are listening can certainly chime in. So some of the produce that's seasonally grown for winter and for fall and winter would be your broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, and all of your lettuces. Those are traditional fall crops. And even if you think about, like, we get, what is it, the yellow one, squash, all year long, but it's not a winter fall crop. But even though we have it in the winter and the fall, but they're not the ones that are traditionally, though it's not its season. So anyways, we're going to talk about growing indoors. And I want to relay some of the questions that people ask. So I'm gonna actually start with you, Sherry. Why do you grow inside versus outside?
hey, Robin, thanks. Yeah, I've been growing indoors for about 12 years, and I live at just about 6,000 feet. So I'm in a mountain environment. So for
Um,
me, to grow indoors makes so much sense because I only have about 3 months in the summer of a growing window, and even that could be days where you're going to get frost. And I do grow outdoors in the summer, but like I said, it's a very short growing season. So I really enjoy growing indoors. I have I have enough room in my open kind of concept house. And for me to be able to have that green growing right next to my dining table has just been awesome. So, I mean, that's basically the main reason. It's just where I live makes so much sense.
to do it. And so your tower's behind you, but right now it's not. You washed it out, you cleaned it out, and then you're going to replant. And then Lisa, I'm going to ask you some questions too. But what do you usually grow in I guess in this season, specifically in the winter, fall? What are some of the things that you put on your tower?
Well, I just will say that this had like it was the end of the harvest. I harvested this tower garden, and this one here is the home, which is designed to grow indoors, but you can take the lights off and you can grow outdoors. And so I have a deck right behind me. So I did
Mm-hmm.
for 3 months have it outside. So I just last week I just cleaned it all up, took it all out, and I'm starting over. I've got all my seedlings ready to go, and in about 5 days, I will go ahead and put the new plants in. And I
Okay.
also, you can see that there's lights for this, even though I have a lot of sun. The
Mm-hmm.
lights really do make a big difference. The things that I like to grow this time of year, I really like to start growing the like spinach and some of those, chard and kale and some of the other lettuces and some herbs, I think they do really well. I haven't done as much growing of some of the things you were talking about, like broccoli and cabbage. Those things I
Those are,
personally,
yeah, because those have to be on the bigger one if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so, and I personally
Yeah.
haven't attempted to grow those. So, um,
Okay.
because I don't know, I just for me, I don't think that stuff's like super expensive at the store. So
Okay.
I mean, like
Yeah.
the thing I spend the most money on the store is greens, actually. So for me to be
Right.
able to save the money growing my own greens has been
Mm.
awesome.
And you said something important, save the money. So we're going to come back with that concept of even what you're saving. So with this tower garden, just for those that are listening, the tower garden is an aeroponic way of growing. So there's no soil, it waters itself, it grows faster, it's just better on the environment. And the soil that we wish were nutrient dense when you're growing uh, in the soil, it doesn't have the nutrients. And so the nutrients are in the water. Tower tonic is what it is, and it grows it. So it's highly nutrient dense. So growing outdoors is possible, but this unit that you're looking at is it's designed to be indoors. Is it smaller? And but you have to have the lights in order to grow inside. So Sherry, I'm going to come back to you, but I'm going to ask Lisa. And Sherry, you said you've been growing for 12 years inside?
About 12 years, 20, well, yeah, it was 2012 when I first started growing. So it's
Okay.
almost 24, so almost 12
Well,
years.
were you growing with the bigger tower at
I
first?
was, and I didn't
Oh,
have
okay.
the lights the first time I grew indoors, and it did
Mm-hmm.
okay. But
Mm-hmm.
I think there might be a protective coat on windows or something.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think why it does so much better with the lights.
With the lights, because people try to say, well, I get a lot of sun in my house, and I've
I
heard
get
that
all day
before.
sun, south facing,
All of
and
it.
still did
Yeah,
it really still wanted the lights.
that's what I hear. They won't do well without the lights. Okay, Lisa, how long have you been growing? And where are you?
I'm right here. Hi,
Okay, there you are.
Robin.
And that's a picture of another tower. So Lisa, the question is, how long have you been growing? And then what do you grow on yours?
Hi, Robin. Thank you for having me. So I have been growing for 2 years now, a little over 2 years, and I'm growing actually indoor and out with the home unit.
Oh,
My
both.
indoor with both the same unit. My indoor has the lights, and of course, my outdoor I don't need the lights.
Oh, okay. Why do you, so you have two
Yes,
homes,
yes.
and why not have the flex outside?
Well, that's my next goal to have a flex, but what I
Okay.
wanted actually was a demo. And
Okay.
so my indoor one, I'm actually using as a demo with the lights as I vendor and
Okay, so you
show
take it with
different
you.
places.
And then those are you that are listening thinking, well, what is flex? Flex is it's a tower designed. It could be used inside, but it's bigger, and that's the one that is able to sustain the bigger plants like cucumbers and squash and things that vine. Those are the things that you would want to grow outside with the flex. But again, there's some situations where you live in an area that doesn't allow for you to go outside. Maybe you live in a smaller space, an apartment, or the climate just doesn't allow. So then the home is, you can grow all year around. So Lisa, what are you growing on when you're growing? What are you growing? Even outside and inside, what are you growing?
Yeah, Robin, one of the things I'm most excited about this week are my tomatoes that
Okay.
just turned red. I ate my first one today, and it was
Okay.
actually sweet. I've heard how good the tomatoes are on there. And so I've got some green ones, some other ones that are growing, but I'm most excited about that because it's my first time doing tomatoes. And they do take a little longer, where everything usually is harvest in 4 weeks on the tower, but tomatoes and peppers are a little bit slower growing. And
Okay.
so yeah, but I also have cabbage. Now I've done cabbage for a long time. This time I have the purple cabbage.
Inside.
Well, I've done it inside. Yes, not right now.
Okay.
I have the outside unit, but yes, I've done the cabbage on the inside on my indoor tower.
Really?
And
Huh.
collard greens, love doing, I do college year round, and I know
Uh-huh.
they like the cooler, the cooler weather
Weather.
as
Yeah.
well as the kale and some other things do. But yeah, I'm really loving doing this both in and out.
Outdoors. And so you said 4 weeks generally, that's how long, because that's people want to know how long does it take from seed to I can eat it. So 4 weeks generally, unless it's now how long did the tomatoes take?
Oh no, they took longer. I lost count of I just kind of knew, put them in
Okay.
there and just kind of waited. It was much longer. I'm not
Like,
exactly sure, but it took, and I knew it would take a while. So
okay. Because I'm wondering what a while is. Is it 8 weeks or
yeah,
90?
maybe 8 weeks, maybe even
Like
longer.
maybe even longer. Okay. And then you said peppers. What kind of peppers have you grown in there?
They were the not the super hot peppers, but
Okay.
Toro. I think they're called the Toro peppers.
Okay.
Is what I had.
Can you grow bell pepper?
I have not tried the bell pepper,
Okay.
but I think I've heard that someone had. But I have partners that do have peppers, but they're not the bell peppers. They
Bell
are
peppers.
lunchbox peppers and those.
Okay. Sherry, have you ever grown bell peppers inside?
Bell peppers inside, no, but jalapeno peppers I grow all the time. And those
Oh.
take like tomatoes, those take longer.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had really good luck with that. Celery is another thing I really like to grow on the tower. It's smaller, but it's more nutrient dense. Because I
Oh.
like to juice it, and I've compared it to juicing store-bought celery, and there's no comparison. It's really cool.
Okay. Someone in the core list said she's grown bell peppers.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And if anybody else have answers to some of these questions or you have those experiences. Okay, so let's talk about, I want to make sure we talk about the savings that you have. Well, let's talk about that now, and then I'm going to talk about maintenance and then bugs, because those are the things people have, and then how much does it cost. So, well, actually, we'll talk about how much the investment for the tower is, but what would you say as far as saving money? Is it saving you money on groceries, or what is your take on that?
I
Sherry.
find
Oh, Sherry. Oh, or Lisa. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So I have found, yes, that I am saving money
Okay.
and I'm saving energy because it's hard for me to find collard greens in my area, a good quality organic collard greens and
Okay.
kale,
Okay.
that's not already packaged. And so finding that fresh and organic, which I like to buy, is
Okay.
I found that difficult. And so if I can get it right from my tower, I'm just, loving that. So not only the cost I would find, but the convenience
The
of it as
convenience.
well, and the energy that it saves me from trying to hunt around to 5 different stores to try to find
Okay.
it.
What about actually you said energy? I was thinking about the power bill. Has your power bill seen an increase by having it?
I have
No.
not seen any increase in my bill. And actually, when
Um,
I have my tower inside, I'm
uh,
saving money because it lights up the whole downstairs and I'm not using any other lights. So when I
okay.
don't have it, I miss it because I got to turn on a light here and turn on a light there. And but with
Oh,
the tower lights, it lights up everything. And so I find that I'm saving money because I'm
honey.
not using as many other lights.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go to Sherry and I'll come back to you, Lisa. But Sherry, what about you as far as are you saving money
Oh,
or do you think
I'm definitely saving money. I live in a ski town in California. Groceries are
oh,
so
so
expensive.
expensive?
I mean, if I go buy a box of mixed greens at the grocery store, it's at least $5 to $7. And then they go
Yeah.
bad after like maybe 1 or 2 days. And so my husband loves it because he can just pick the lettuce off the tower that he's going to use to make a sandwich. I grow catnip too for the kitties. But this summer it was really cool. My sister has 2 teenage boys, and It's been financially tough for her this summer, and I felt great because every week I was able to give her a bag of groceries from my I have two tower gardens. I have a flex as well that I grow up just outside now. And it
Okay.
felt really great to be able to send her home, to send groceries home with her when she was getting off work. And I think years ago I figured out I was saving at least $50 to $60 a month, but I think it's more than that now because I haven't really calculated lately, but I know, just to go buy a little thing of basil is,
Yes.
at least $5 these days if you're gonna go buy organic.
Yeah.
And half the
Um,
time it doesn't, it's all wilted. So
yeah, I know. Someone put in the chat $3 a month. It maybe runs on the bill, the having it plugged in
I didn't notice any increase in my bill. So if it
in
was
your
three
bill.
dollars, I didn't notice that, but that
Yeah,
could be, depending. We have solar also, so I don't really know.
also. And then how long are you keeping your lights on a day?
So for
The
me,
lights.
I will keep them on usually until about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and then they'll come on around 6 in the morning. That what seems to work well for me.
So how many hours a day are the lights on?
3/4 of the day, right? So I think about 24 hours minus a
Okay,
fourth.
so 16 hours maybe?
That's about how many, yeah.
Okay, so it's on a lot. The lights are on a lot. Okay. Um, and so someone asked how long how long does it take for the kale and the collard greens to grow?
Kale for me grows super fast and it's always really abundant. I haven't really grown the collard greens, so maybe Lisa has some
Lisa,
tips.
how long does it take you for your collard greens?
Oh, the collards, let's see. Well, I'm usually eating in about a month.
Okay, so
And
about a month.
then I still have a stock of collards from like a year ago. And it just grows and grows and it grows up. It's like coming up the tower.
Mhm.
And at the root, the base that's in the tower, more collards are starting to come up from the one that's in the net pot. I've got more that has started coming up. So it's
Okay,
like a whole new crop of them is
I have
coming up.
to
coming up.
try
So
those. So
I'm
you got to
loving that.
give me some recipes. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm loving that. I do it in my smoothie. I have a green smoothie every morning and
Wow.
getting those nutrients is fabulous in there.
Someone, I grow inside in Chicago and I would love pointers on how to best grow collard, spinach, and kale, as I haven't had a lot of luck with them. Is there any tips that you have for them? Any?
Just other thing with the kale, the type of kale you grow, I find is really important. I like growing like a dinosaur kale.
Mhm,
There's some other types that I find just if you put them at the top of your tower, they can
mhm.
grow up. That's where I've had a lot of good experience growing kale. And I always keep a fan on my tower growing indoors. Otherwise, things like kale can attract aphids can come in. And then your plants grow stronger as well when you have a fan next to your
Yeah,
tower. So
I
that's
was gonna
really
ask about that. And Sherry is in the mountains, so she's near the snow. Yes, it snows where she is. Lisa, did you have any pointers about growing the collards or kale?
Yes, I would say the same thing as far as the fan. I use a fan indoors and the types of kale matters. So find that type that grows best. I would try. And I had different varieties of kale. And I'm not even sure which one. I still have a couple of different, but I'm sorry, I don't know the names of them. Maybe one is the curly kale
Mm-hmm.
and and then for the collards, what was your question? I'm sorry.
It was what are your tips on getting them to grow?
Okay. Not only starting them with seeds, but getting seedlings is one of the things that I do from a local, certified grower that we have, ordering the
Okay.
seedlings. I have found that has been really helpful for me.
To do that. And as we're having this chat, you all, if you do have any questions, I can see the chat and I'll make sure to field them out to Lisa and Sherry. So just make sure that you can put them in the chat. Okay, so the indoor tower, as far as we talked about, not really a change on the power bill. We talked about saving money because you're not having to buy this produce. And so then the question is, okay, well, how much does it cost? So the investment for the indoor tower where the lights is $1,020, but you pay for it over 12 months, $85 a month. And when you buy it, it comes with everything that you need to get started. And after that, you can buy other seeds and so forth to that whatever you like, but it comes self-contained when you first order it. There's a money back guarantee. And again, that $85 a month for 12 months, you can pay it in advance or you can take the 12 months. But once you've paid for it, then it's paid for and that's it. And I always say it's like printing money, because once you buy it, then it's yours forever and you're continuing to yield from it. So it's wonderful. How much are the seedlings? Are $1, $2 each seed?
I think it depends where you order from. I've ordered mostly when I do order seedlings from True Garden, and it's about $2 to $3 for each seedling from them.
Okay, and then it yields. So like, let's say it's $2 to $3, but how long can you eat off of that $2 to $3? Like sometimes what, 6 months? Is it 6 months?
I don't know if that might, it depends on what it's growing. I mean, maybe with the kale, but like some of the lettuce, you're going to have to replace a lot sooner than that. I always sort of have some seeds growing and starting just so I can kind of, like the things that kind of in their cycle, I have something ready to put into the little
there. Each time it lasts though, at least a couple months, few months.
I would say for me, it's every 4 months.
Every 4 months.
Everything is pretty good.
Got it. And then we're talking more about the home unit today because of just the time of the year it is. But we know that some people in California can grow outside all year long. The Flex is bigger, and it is the one that can do the cucumbers and the squash and all of that. But those are seasonal items. So even in the cold, let's say if you're in a climate like California, you're still growing the lettuces and the broccolis and things outdoors that can deal with the frost if there is frost. That unit is $670 and you're paying $55 a month for the outdoor one. The outdoor one can be brought inside, it's just bigger. And then the most important thing about the indoor growing is you have to have the lights. That's where the other 300 some odd dollars comes from, is you've got to have the grow lights. Trying to not have them and grow, you really won't be successful with that. Okay, let's talk about bugs, because that's a question that comes up. Bugs and rodents. And so I'm going to ask Lisa.
Lisa. Where are you at in the country?
Oh, where are you, Lisa?
I am in South Carolina.
Okay, cool.
South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm in South Carolina.
Bugs or no bugs? How are you managing bugs?
Well, we do have the aphids. And one of the things that I have found out, and I didn't know this before, is that when I buy produce and bring it in the house, I need to wash it first. Even bananas, just washing those bananas off first, because I didn't realize that they will find their way to my tower. And I, don't like that. So yes, I have had the aphids, and they do like certain of the produce more than others. And it's not everything, that they like, but depending on the variety that you get, it could like, the kale more or the cabbage more. I know I had something that was really attracted to the cabbage, but nothing else.
Okay.
And,
okay, so let's be real about this.
I've also learned that I have to make sure my house plants are clean of any bugs that are near the flower garden.
Yes, I heard that. I heard that. So let's talk about, so if you get bugs, first of all, can you just not even get bugs? Can you avoid that at all costs?
Yeah.
Is there a way? Okay, how do you avoid that?
If I order seedlings from a provider, I will make sure I wash them with an insecticide soap, that like something all natural, and just make sure I totally clean them, because that's the other way I've had them come into the house. Because it only takes like it's crazy how aphids are the only bugs that I've ever had a problem with growing indoors.
Okay.
The fan has made a huge difference for me. And then just kind of checking it. Like if you touch your tower garden every day, the
Mhm.
first sign of anything that's wrong, take that plant out, clean it or maybe just replace it.
Okay.
The
So what
last
I heard,
year,
go
I've
ahead.
not had any problems, knock on wood.
What I heard. So what I heard you all say is that produce, Lisa, you're washing all your produce that's if you're not had not grown it in the tower, you're washing it. Or if you did not start your seeds yourself and you bought them from somewhere else, you gotta wash. Because I hear that too, that getting seedlings from outside, someone else making or creating them, that's where bugs can come in. So the alternative to that is to grow your own starter plants yourself. And then I heard Sherry say that she uses a fan. And I've heard that over and over again. If you put a fan by the tower, they don't like that
Right.
wind and that keeps them away.
Mhm.
I've always grown with the Flex. And I say this because again, for anybody that knows me, or if you don't know me, I just moved from the West Coast to the East Coast. And so I'm just as curious about growing indoors too, because I'm about to start doing that for the first time. So I'm going to take all of your tips. Aren't there also some sprays, some in natural bug repellents? Do you either of you use those?
I have used the neem oil,
Neem oil,
and
uh-huh.
which is a our organic brand, and that works well.
Okay.
I
I've
have
Okay.
used that,
found.
and also our Rob and I have a friend named Elizabeth. She turned me on to I think it's
Yeah.
Dr.
After Earth. Yes. And you use that. And then how often are you spraying?
I don't really do it very much at all. I don't know about you, but I really am very good at looking at my tower to see if there's any issues.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So now let's talk about maintenance. How are you? So the tower is inside. How are you filling it up?
Well, today I filled mine up, so I don't want to dominate you or anything.
Yeah, no, go ahead. How are you filling it up?
We have to take all the hoses off the house right now because it's been getting so cold at night. Like we have to make sure. So it's time to like get your house wrapped up for winter. So I made my husband put a hose on, and I dragged the hose from outside in, and so I filled it up in like no time. If I don't have that option, then I just roll it. It has rollers. I just roll it over to my sink, and I have a
uh-huh.
faucet that kind of comes off, and I can just fill it up. It's not that huge of a reservoir for the
Mhm.
home unit,
Okay.
so it's pretty easy. I mean, you could also maybe take pictures of water and put it in there when I'm just filling it up during the winter. That's usually how I'll fill it up.
Okay. Lisa, how do
So
you fill
Robin,
yours up?
yeah, I fill mine up with a hose. At my front door, I have a hose
Uh-huh.
there, and I just pull it through. And I also have a RV filter that is on my hose
Mm-hmm.
to use it, and that filters the water so I can get purified
Great
water in
idea.
there. And yeah, so that hose works well. I have one in the front and one in the back as well.
You just fill it up. Okay, a hose. And then how then do you dump it out? So what are you if you're it's a smaller 13 gallons, you put the water in there when you're trying to clean it, how are you getting the water out
To
of
clean it, it's probably not going to be full
there?
because water is probably you're always adding water, right? And
Okay.
they give you a little hose that you attach so that
Mhm.
it can suck the water out. But I found that it's really not heavy to just dump it because it is a smaller
Oh,
reservoir. I'm sure how
Yeah,
Lisa had the same experience.
okay. Because
I
I'm used to
found
the
the
big
same
one.
thing.
Uh-huh. It's just easy. Okay, because I'm used to the big one and there is no such thing as move it and just dump it. You gotta use that
No, it's
pump.
much
Yeah.
heavier to
But
have
this
that
is
one.
tiny. Okay. I think, anybody in the, because we're only here for till now, like 30 minutes. Any other questions that are in the chat that y'all want answered? So I want to encourage you all that are listening to contact the person that invited you here so they can help you determine which unit is best for you, be it outside, inside, and just really talk with you about that. because it just depends on your, where you live in the country as to what is better for you and help you get started and just really answer all the questions. With the Tower Garden, there's a whole big old community, and there's a Facebook group that is so useful, and you can ask all these questions, and there's just a lot that goes along with it. So when you get a tower, you become part of the family, the Tower Garden Juice Plus family, and everyone is here to support you. I'm going to look at my notes just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Just to make sure.
Can I say one thing? Like anybody that goes to Tower Garden, I just encourage them to always, I do like one major cleaning a year, in between like winter and summer, I'll do a mini clean. And I just did the fall major clean. But I always just encourage you to keep growing. Just, I know it seems like a hassle sometimes to take it apart and clean it and get it set up again, but just don't let it go sit in storage, because you get so much out of it if you can just keep it growing.
Keep it growing. Lisa, thank you for that. That was, yes, I love that. One major cleaning a year, one major one. Lisa, do you have any words of wisdom or final thoughts?
Well, someone had asked in the chat, Robin, about growing cabbage and if you need a cage for it. And I will say I do not need the cage for the cabbage. I do have a cage, for the tomatoes, but not really for the cabbage because it kind of contains itself. So just wanted to answer that. And then also for the aphids, that yellow sticky paper is wonderful, sticking that around as well in the tower.
In the tower. So do you need a cage for tomatoes indoors? You need that cage for your tomatoes?
I need it for my tomatoes and my collards because, like I was telling you, and my kale too, they wrap around and they're pretty long. The stems
inside we're talking about. You're talking about inside.
Currently it's outside. It's outside.
So if it were inside, if it's inside and you're growing tomatoes, do you need that?
Yes, I would say yes, you would, because they hang. There's so many vines. And I use it on the vines. I would say yes if you are.
You say yes. All right. Well,
I really use the cage inside for a while, and I don't do too many tomatoes indoors, but I find if I put them on the bottom, and I just have to be good about cutting them so they don't get too viney. I mean, it can be done without the cage, but maybe it's easier for you with the cage. I'm super excited to try the cabbage.
Yeah. This has been so wonderful. And I thank you so much. I love, Lisa's in California in the cold. Not Lisa, sorry, Sherry. Sherry's in California in the cold. And then Lisa is in South Carolina, right?
Yes.
South Carolina.
Yes.
And just different parts of the country with different experiences. And my intention, let me actually turn this recording off so it doesn't go any longer, but those that are listening live and or as with the recording, please contact the person that invited you here. Growing your own food is so powerful. You're empowered, and you miss all those crazy recalls. You know that you're getting the best produce, and your body we need that in order to thrive. So I encourage you to do that.
And it's safe for plastic. How much produce is in plastic in the grocery store?
Yeah. And I think that as our world becomes more interesting, I'll say that, as it becomes more interesting, the need for control of our food becomes more needed than ever before. So let me turn this recording off. And where do you turn it off? Why can't I know that? Stop recording.
There is a lot of food insecurity